One of the areas in Gibraltar that you're responsible for is the police.
Yeah.
And the police is currently engaged in a reform process. So there's governance reform of which you are a part. In your view, should an elected government have a stronger role in police governance, or would that be contrary to operational independence?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to clarify, there is operational reform of the RGP going on. That would sort of happen anyway with a new commissioner. They're always going to take a sort of fresh look at how things are going, and of course we have got, you know, a good number of the McGrail inquiry recommendations that apply to the operational aspects of the police, and so the commissioner has got that bit firmly in his portfolio. You know, I'm not getting involved in that. That's his business. He's the professional lead of the Royal Gibraltar Police, and he's got all the expertise he needs there. So there's operational reform. Then there is reform of the governance of the police, and that is the sort of the business of holding the commissioner to account. And that's where I would say that we've got a bit of streamlining to be done. I mean, what one's got to work out is where is the right place that policy is formulated. Secondly, where the resources coming from and who's responsible for the resources. And thirdly, is this sort of holding to account mechanism, and a number of individuals can play a part, but that's really the independent advice and sort of scrutiny of the police. UK, as you're probably aware, is changing its system. Used to have a model like Gibraltar based on the police authority, then moved to police and crime commissioners. Now has got a white paper that abolishes the police and crime commissioners and moves to an elected mayoral system overseeing policy for the police and holding to account, and actually resources as well. UK governance is actually quite complicated. By the time you look at England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, all slightly different systems, and then different systems in metropolitan area. What we've got to do in Gibraltar is make sure we've got a really very straightforward system. It's a small police force, albeit one that's been expanded quite significantly by an extra 34 police officers on top of the 250. But we've got to get this, the streamlining of policy, resources, holding to account, and then clearly operations are completely separate, and that won't change.
Are we expecting another HMIC report or investigation soon?
No, because I haven't asked His Majesty's Inspectorate Constabulary to do another inspection yet. It just seems where you've got a new commissioner, well, I say new, he's been in position about a year now, he's got plenty of work to be done. He needs to be allowed to have a chance to model the changes in the way he sees fit. Once he's got a little bit further underway, I think that's the moment to bring in the inspector. What we did have is a visit. I asked His Majesty Inspector of Constabulary, an inspector called Lee Freeman. He was the Chief Constable in Humberside. I mean, a really superb Chief Constable. He came in just for a discussion with the RGP, discussion with me, and I also asked him to brief our steering group for the reform and the governance of the police. So that's what he was doing. It wasn't an inspection. And what was interesting with him, he was telling us about the reform in the UK, and he very strongly made the point that the governance is best done when the democratically elected politicians or mayors or what have you have a say in the policy for the police, and that was his view. So we're factoring in his views.
Finally, I wanted to ask you on a personal note. You've been in Gibraltar for a while now. Has your living here influenced your understanding of Gibraltar's relationship with the UK at all?
Absolutely. I think I had a sort of honeymoon in the first year, and by the end of the first year I thought I understood it. I think now I've come to the end of my second year, I realise how little I understood in my first year. So my knowledge sort of builds and builds. What's been really useful, actually, we managed through a number of ways to increase our staff here at the convent. So we've recruited 3 very high calibre young Gibraltarians, all under the age of 25, who help us in our work, and their perspective has been really, really useful compared with the way that I from UK come at things. They're a very helpful counterbalance, and they educate us a great deal in the ways of Gibraltar.